One big thing that is important for me and my work is what family albums are and how we approach them and what we decide to include in them and what we decide to exclude from them. My name is Martha Naranjo Sandoval, and I'm a 2023 Baxter St Artist in Residence. I went to film school. Ever since I was little, I've always been interested by film. Because the film was like the first thing that I learned how to do, ideas about film language are still prevalent in my work, even now in the wall. So I came into photography and it felt perfect because all that I needed was a camera and myself. And then I could fulfill my need to tell stories. I just fell in love with not so much photography per se, but like just art making around photography. So there's these big things that I explore, and then there's like the smaller things. It's so much about my life, and my life, like anyone else's life, is complex. One big thing that is important for me and my work is what family albums are and how we approach them and what we decide to include in them and what we decide to exclude from them. Also, my experience as an immigrant to the US from a place like Mexico, being in a mixed race relationship with a white man, and the complexities of that. The physicality of my body is an important part of my work, and doing some portraits means a particular thing, and like what a body like mine in the art world means. The most important thing is that there's like open-ended questions, and what I want is not from people to like necessarily arrive to the same conclusions as me, but to draw different clues and arrive to their own conclusions from the work. So there's all of these actions in my pictures. Partly is just see where people's minds go to, and they're open-ended enough that it could go so many different ways, and it could go to places that are funny, but it could also go to places that are dark. Like I talk about the family album, and I do think that desire is an important part of like family and of like human experience that is not often in family albums. And I guess my proposal is, why not? Bodies like mine have historically not been considered like worthy of sensualness. So, this is my proposal of like, maybe they should be, or maybe, or if not, then why not? But also there is a thing about like female desire. Historically, men have been like photographing women with desire. And, I'm a sexual woman too. And I just wanted to photograph my husband in my desire for him. And I just feel like we need more of that in the art world. I always have my camera on me whenever I go. I don't plan pictures like kind of happen. It is at this point baked into my relationship that that's gonna happen, and that's part of kind of the way that we relate. My husband helps me a lot with the pictures, but also my siblings help me, my parents help me. They basically like give me these pictures. Collaboration with these people that I know love me. So posing for it a certain way, or like helping me take the picture in other ways. So in a way, like anyone who's around me that like loves me or that's with me knows that that's gonna be part of our interaction, and knows that some moments are picture time moments. And because they love me, they play along with it. I ask my partner a lot to take pictures of me, and that's an important part of my work, is me taking pictures of him and him taking pictures of me. And it is a constant collaboration, but more than that, it's like a communication. He kind of knows what I'm looking for, but I also have to express it in a way. And we have to talk to each other so that we are on the same page as to what he's looking at and if he's taking the picture that I want him to take. So I'm interested in what happens when you have that communication. Having this residency really allowed me the luxury of having time to be an artist. So having the space where I would come and I'm like, this is where I do work, was just amazing. And then just having the workspace being below the space where I was gonna show really allowed me to like think about the particularities of this space and how this show in particular could be. Because I've been doing this work for so long. So it was just a luxury to be able to like actually think about how the work wants to be presented. So I have a publishing company and I publish other artists and I always edit those books. So I was very familiar as to how you can tell stories through the accumulation of images in a book. And that way, like, it's a physical thing. I understand what like the relationship in between the pages is and what like viewers do when they look at books and how like they flip on pages. So I was very familiar on that, like more like linear, unmediated storytelling. But space is a completely different monster. And it was also not as obvious to me what like people do when they approach a space, because you'd think, all right, they start at the beginning, but what is the beginning? And also I think people in a space are like more erratic, like it's harder to know when they're gonna start and what they're gonna do next. So it was particularly challenging, and it was a learning experience for me to adapt my skills of editing for a book into editing for a space. I have been 10 years in this country. Would you graduate and you're like, I'm gonna be an artist now? And then that doesn't really happen. You have to decide you either wanna keep doing it even though no one's watching, or you just like give it up. And I guess you have to decide what's more important for you, that other people see it or that you do it. And then you just have to like, I guess, keep going or like trust yourself. I'm not gonna say that happens for everyone, but it happened for me that eventually people started to notice and care about it.